Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to the finale of our F1 Salvaging Sauber career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a few days ago from Qatar, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. I'll be honest, this weekend, we've got nothing to fight for in the World Championship, in either of the World Championships. We have locked up P10 in the driver's table there. We've got a 39-point buffer, sorry, 39-point buffer even, I should say, from Lance Stroll behind, and a 36-point gap to Oscar Piastri ahead of us. Williams could still, or Alpine could still technically beat us in the Constructors, but both teams would need a 1-2 finish, and we can't come any higher than P6 here. There are still a few interesting battles to watch out for. 1 point in it between Ferrari and Red Bull as we head into this season finale tonight. Of course, Verstappen wrapped up the Constructors, a few races to go, but who will come out on top in the Constructors' Championship? Only time will tell. Of course, we're really just focusing on next season now. As you can see, we've got all of the upgrades sorted, ready for the next campaign as well, and a few other bits and pieces that are currently still in the works as well. Obviously, get yourself subscribed if you are new around here. We are trying to hit 7k subs on the channel at the time of recording as well. But yeah, for the final time then this season, we're under no pressure this weekend. Let's go out there, have some fun, and see what happens. Well, here we are then, the final qualifying session of the year, and it does feel weird racing on the new version of Abu Dhabi in cockpit camera as well, so hopefully we can try and have a good run throughout this session there. A little bit of a bobble over the inside curbing through turn 1. But of course, yeah, last weekend in Qatar we had a really good one-lap pace, so I'm not expecting that to be the same here. In fact, if anything, the AI are actually a little bit stronger in qualifying than they are in race pace around this circuit. But yeah, like I said, you know, we've really got nothing to worry about here. We could have mechanical failure, it would make no difference. I'd rather we didn't. Obviously, we had one back in Bahrain, so I'd rather not bookend our World Championship with mechanical failures, but that could be the way things go this weekend there, as a little bit optimistic through the first part of chicane and a bit of a wobble on the exit there. I think we're running quite high up the order until we just lose bags of time off the corner. I would assume it's Lance Stroll that is still running behind us right now. But yeah, this Sauber's pace has really ebbed and flowed in the last few weekends, so it would be nice to try and kind of have a bit of a consistent idea of kind of where we're going to be ready for Season 2. Of course, as we try and wind our way under the hotel, basically try and turn out those two corners into one, claiming a couple of spots back from a few of your other runners there. One more corner to go, though. Again, just a little way away from the apex. Get the power down on the run to the line. P16. That's quite disappointing, but it does still give us something to work with into the race. Well, there we go. Verstappen ahead of Charles Leclerc, but it is Lando Norris once again claiming pole position here. McLaren have really found something with that car late on this season. I believe if the race was to finish in exactly the same order as qualifying has gone there, Ferrari and Red Bull would be tied on points leaving Abu Dhabi as well. So it would go to Red Bull by virtue of Verstappen having so many more wins than everybody else there. We do go quicker than Bottas one final time this campaign. There are still a lot of rumours for driver transfers for Season 2, so Bottas needs a good race here, and maybe he'd go to McLaren or something weird.
It's the final chapter of the season then here at the spectacular Yas Marina circuit. It's a race where the pole sitter failed to finish in 3 of the first 4 events. A front row start here is by no means a guarantee of victory. We go into battle once more then as we get underway at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We have 16 corners here at Yas Marina circuit, 7 to the right and 9 to the left. It's a total lap distance of 3.28 miles, 2 long straights and overtaking opportunities throughout the lap. And we expect average lap speeds of around 123 miles per hour. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Sainz, Perez, Russell, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Stroll, Ocon, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Albon, Mr. Monaco, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Sargent, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. We welcome to the commentary box Anthony Davidson. I'm Alex Jakes. We're both looking forward to a really intriguing race today. Well, it's the last race of the season, but there's still plenty to prove out there. How important is getting the right mentality for this season closer?
Yeah, a lot of races to cover, but it's the same for the drivers. It comes at you thick and fast, and you've got to pace yourself as well to get to this point in the season. If it has gone your way, it's a great time to just enjoy it. There's nothing that can change in the championship pecking order, of course. If you've won the championship already, go out and enjoy this race and send yourself off through the winter break. If it's been a bit of a year to forget, you can try and take a bit of solace in this Grand Prix. End on a high and carry that energy into next season.
Well, I would really love to finish the year with another points finish, of course. We've scored in the last 3 Grand Prix, if I remember correctly. So I would love to make it 4 in a row here. 20 laps from the Abu Dhabi Yas Marina circuit, lining up P16 alongside our teammate Valtteri Bottas. It is going to be 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and away we go there. One of the V-cars just in front, not responding very well, so immediately they're going to be almost 4 wide down in towards turn 1 there. Just got to be careful of Alex Albon just in front. It's like, no idea who that was. Trying, I think, go down the middle. Whoa, with the 2 Sauber cars, they're almost straight into the back of Albon as everybody, Constantine is up over the top of the hill. The Williams, again, trying to look for a move. Down at the hairpin there alongside one of the Alpines. I believe that's Esteban Ocon. If this series has taught me anything throughout this season, it's just how many more now driver helmets I recognise inside this game there. It really has been kind of the only tool you've got to kind of learn about the other drivers as well. Again, a little bit cheeky to the inside of both Albon and Ocon. You can hear lots of wheel banging between the pair of them there, but we will get around the outside. On the exit, I thought we'd gone into the back of the other V-car, but I think we got away with it. So we'll just try and use a little bit of battery to defend ourselves into the next corner there. We can see both Aston Martins going side by side just up in front, but 3 places gained on lap 1. We cannot complain with that. Oh, I think that's Tsunoda, who definitely has just broken a little bit earlier than I was expecting down into the chicane. Now, again, obviously everybody trying to be so, kind of careful of that Constantina effect, but I'd rather go past him rather than lose my front wing very early on in this race. So up at a P12, I can see though in the other championship battle, Pierre Gasly running up inside the top 10 there. Of course, Alpine have been quicker than Williams pretty much all year. Obviously, it was just Albon's result back at Monza, as one of the Aston Martins having a bit of a lock-up. I would imagine that's Lance Stroll, but that would also imply that Stroll is ahead of Alonso, which seems unlikely. Oh, here we go. Aston Martin's again going wheel to wheel there, so they are really trying to kind of go aggressive against each other. I think, again, I actually do think it is Alonso that is directly in front of me right now. And if these two can keep tripping each other over, that would work fantastically, not only for me, but for Gasly a little bit further up there. Of course, they only need 1 point down at Alpine to get the jump on Williams. I might try and deny him that chance, but at the moment, in P9, he could be on for double that. Whoa, Alonso. I was just thinking about how badly everybody had bunched up in front, and Fernando Alonso had improved it there. No idea how far up kind of this group extends. It wouldn't surprise me if Lando Norris and Verstappen had been able to break free at the start, and then kind of just have never looked back. But yeah, we've got a big train that's got to extend at least close to the podium here right now, so everybody just kind of stuck in this group. I think Tsunoda might have dropped out of the range, but I genuinely have no idea. He could still be quite close behind me. But yeah, just starting to get a little bit impatient, stuck behind these cars in front. I'm also debating, obviously last weekend we made the kind of harder to softer tyre strategy work for ourselves. Could I try that again today? Tyre wear doesn't seem to be too bad here. Temperatures look to be okay. I reckon if we could take these tyres to about the end of 12, basically the same strategy as we did last weekend, we could make a set of softs to the end work. Here we go, Alonso and Stroll again then, wheel to wheel down in towards the chicane. So let's see if we can try and use this to the best of our ability there as Alonso. We'll try and go all the way around the outside. Stroll will be the one that gets the power down though just a little bit earlier. And now we're going to try and have a look for a move around the outside of Fernando Alonso. Can we make it 3 wide with Lance Stroll as well, and around the outside of both Aston Martin cars? Not enough grip out there though on the marbles, and both of them would immediately go back past me there. So 3 green machines battling it out at this stage of the Grand Prix. Stroll is not going to give up on this one, as Fernando Alonso there tries to go all the way around his outside. Ooh, that was scary. And we try and get the power off of the corner as well there, as I mean instantly that is giving Gasly and everybody else so much breathing room up in front there. To the inside now, Fernando Alonso, who thought about going to the apex but won't be able to commit. I mean, suddenly this is now a battle for P10, but yeah, that has really screwed all of us up. I genuinely think might be one of the best battles we've had all season long, and say doing it in cockpit camera definitely gives you kind of a different idea of, you know, how those battles work inside the game as well there, as Stroll again will just defend from us down in towards the first chicane. Not too worried about that, as hopefully we'll be able to get a run out onto the second of the DRS straights here. Will we be able to get close enough to the Canadian before we get in towards the corner? Big send to the inside there. Luckily it's Lance Stroll, so you can do what you like. What is the gap to Gasly in front? Oh, 3.6 seconds. We're going to have to try and put some qualifying laps in.
7 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. Your last lap time, 1:26.5. Okay, so they're extending their advantage by 2 seconds a lap at the moment.
There you go, you heard it there from Mark. Last lap he pulled out over 2 seconds on us. But yeah, annoyingly, of course, he'll still have the DRS from all those faster cars, so it's going to be difficult to rein him back in. Actually just starting to struggle a little bit with rear tyre temperature here, as there will go Lance Stroll back around the outside. There will go Fernando Alonso back down the inside. So again, it might leave these two battling as we try and make our way out of the chicane. And again, we might end up 3 wide there, as Alonso just cannot put the power down off the exit of the corner. We are going to stick to that hard tyre strategy, and we are going to dive in then to the pit lane. Oh, no! No, 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 no. I was so scared that was going to happen at some point there. Has got to try and get off the racing line, but I think, have we got a red flag, or is it a safety car, or what's gone on? Huge damage to the car. Bottas is breaking down. Everybody else is going again. We have got a safety car. So that crash there between myself and Alonso, and I was trying to thread the needle between the 2 Aston Martin cars. It did not work for us. And immediately then, this is going to completely reset the race.
Keep an eye on your engine temperatures. Cooling may be adversely affected. Just follow the safety car. Don't worry about the target. Follow the safety car. Okay.
Well, everybody then into the pit lane. How on earth is Mark telling me that, like 30 seconds after it's happened here? But I guess that kind of gives everybody a chance to do the same strategy then. That side pod damage is going to do us a big, big disservice though. Whoa! Into the second half of the race, there is lots of cars getting held up in the pit lane. Hopefully, oh no, we're going to get caught as well. No, this is a disaster. So Hulkenberg will get back out there, but I think we're going to lose. Oh no, we've gained places because of that, because everybody else behind as well will have also been stuck. I've got no idea whether Bottas is out of this Grand Prix or not. But I think, yeah, everybody or every team has been screwed over. Bottas has pit, so not too sure what was happening to him. But yeah, that's going to give a huge amount of your backmarker teams an opportunity to get a car in the top 10. Well, we're going to dive into the pit lane again then at the end of the very next lap, because I didn't realise we'd actually picked up front wing damage then in this race. Of course, there's no point when you've got a big reset like this not to obviously take all the damage or clear all the damage you possibly can. So we're going to bolt on a set of soft compound tyres to try and take us through to the checkered flag. But that's why we're going to be back out then at the rear of the field. We've sacrificed a few positions as well that could be quite risky. But again, you know, we've got none to lose. Oh, getting ready to go green flag racing then. This has been a big, big gamble for us, but hopefully it'll pay off in the second half. Like I said, I don't think we've ever had a safety car inside this series. We've had a red flag before and a few VSCs here and there. But I think, yeah, we had to wait all the way until Abu Dhabi for our first safety car of the campaign. So let's see if we can try and get a restart to remember here. Down at the back of the field, we've got 9 laps to try and carve our way back up through the order. Of course, everything has been bunched back up as well. But Just trying to take it nice and easy there through that final turn. Don't want to be all up the gearbox of Logan Sargent, just in case he has to brake check us for something just in front. But again, we've got to use these soft compound tyres nice and early. Mark's adamant I'm going to box again. That is definitely not going to happen between now and the end of the race. But can we try and capitalise and get to the inside of Logan straight down at the hairpin? There we go. One immediately ticked back off. Fantastic. Hopefully it won't be long before we make it a couple more as well there. As I mean, the AI, they're braking a good 50 metres early, just kind of following each other in a line there. There would definitely be opportunities for them to try and obviously gain some spots on each other. But 2 places gained immediately. Like I said, though, the big emphasis is going to be looking after the tyres. Also, that side pod damage is making the car rather slow in a straight line. Well, I was really hoping that maybe, just maybe, Valtteri Bottas could score a point tonight. Finish off the year with the result that he deserves. He has been very quick over 1 lap this year. But just never has had a race that's kind of fell into his favour. So almost into the back of Alonso again in this race. So got to be super careful of that one. I'm sure Bottas got the scare of his life. I did as well.
If you don't take the drive-through penalty this lap, you'll be disqualified. Box, box,
Hey?
box.
What have they had a drive-through penalty for? I've never heard this. Surely not. Surely we're not going to get disqualified in...
I'm afraid that's race over. The stewards have black flagged you.
I've never had that. I was never told by the team. What did we even get a drive-through penalty for? I am so confused right now, and, well, it's a good job we have nothing to fight for tonight, because our race is over on lap 13, or lap 14. What on earth is that?
What a way to head to victory! Lando Norris takes the win!
And that's 2 wins in a row now. It's the start of potentially something special, but they can't get ahead of themselves just yet. It's a long way to go.
As the winners make their way up to the podium, one can only imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team, securing the win and proving they're a force to be reckoned with out on the track.
Well, there we are then. No real surprises at the end of the GP there. Lando Norris comfortably fastest of anybody throughout the weekend. And I tell you what, McLaren, it might not have gone their way this season. But yeah, Lando will certainly be back to fight with Max for the World Championship next year as well. The Dutchman in P2 yet again ahead of Charles Leclerc. Hamilton beats out Russell. Gasly gets a P6 finish, which massively elevates Alpine's chances at the end of the year. Sainz ahead of Piastri, Perez, and then Esteban Ocon makes it a double Alpine points haul as well. So they have definitely beaten out Williams. It's basically been Alex Albon come the end of the year there. Alonso did get ahead of Stroll, Hülkenberg ahead of Albon, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Bottas and Logan Sargent. And yeah, according to that, we got DNF'd. Why did we get disqualified from that race? Apparently, we ignored yellow flags. I don't know when, I don't know where, but apparently that's what we've done tonight. So like I said, it's a very good job that we had nothing to fight for come the end of the GP. What does that do to our World Championship standings? Well, it means Verstappen wins the title. 344 points from 16 races means he averaged just over 20, that's 21.5 points a Grand Prix weekend. Yes, there were 3 sprints thrown in there as well, but I think the Dutchman finished outside the top 2 about less than 4 times all year. An absolute ridiculous tally by him. Norris a comfortable P2 in the end, ahead of Charles Leclerc, who beats out Carlos Sainz. Fernando Alonso, a very good season in 5th, ahead of Russell and Hamilton. Perez all the way down in 8th, ahead of Piastri and ourselves. Gasly jumps both Stroll and Alex Albon with that final race result as well. So a very good job by Alpine there, with Ocon with 4 valid points on the board as well. Tsunoda, Hülkenberg, Bottas, Ricciardo, Sargent and Magnussen all failed to score. Constructors-wise, it means Ferrari do claim it by just 2 ahead of Red Bull as well. Easily one of the closest constructors battles we've ever seen in the sport. McLaren in a distant 3rd ahead of Mercedes and Aston Martin. We come through for 6th ahead of Alpine, who, yeah, leapfrog Williams massively by the end of the year. VCAR beat out Haas on countback as neither team scored a point throughout the entirety of the campaign. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like. Gutted that the final race ended like that. The only DNFs we had all season was round 1 and the last race as well. But yeah, we'll be back very soon for season 2, where hopefully we can fight for the world title.